Data scientist is the top job title referencing generative AI. So that means that companies don't just need data talent, they need data talent that knows AI. So what does know AI actually mean? Well, I found that it's actually twofold. Firstly, you know how to leverage AI to speed up your existing workflow, not just in a way of prompting ChatGPT to write Python code kind of way, but it's more about rethinking the way you get things done, from generating or collecting data, exploratory data analysis, modeling, reporting, and communication. Secondly, you know how to build AI systems. For example, creating and deploying tools and agents to automate part of or an entire process or workflow for your team. Now, let's first talk about different ways to leverage AI to speed up a data science workflow. I'll talk about a few specific tools in this video, but I want to be clear that tools isn't the point because tools can change. What matters is knowing what's now possible so you can think about how to adapt and rethink the way you're working. So the first major way data scientists can leverage AI is in EDA and data preprocessing. If you've worked in a real data science project before, you probably already experienced this. Too much time spent preparing data, not enough time analyzing it. You got the job thinking you spent all day finding data patterns, coming up with hypotheses and interesting analysis. In reality, you spent 60 to 70% of your time cleaning data, writing repetitive code to check data types, handling missing values, or creating standard visualizations. Here are two open source tools I've come across that can make your work a little bit easier and more fun. The first one is PandasAI. It's a Python library that basically allows you to ask questions to your data frame in natural language. For example, what's the total sales per coffee type? Depending on your question, it can return different kind of responses like a string, a data frame, a chart, or a number. It's totally open source and you can hook it up with any LLM you like. And I'm connecting PandasAI with an LLM from OpenAI here. Now, if you're wondering if your whole dataset would be sent to an LLM or not, the answer is no. When you ask PandasAI a question, it actually sends just enough context. So your question, along with the column names, a few sample rows, and some metadata. The LLM reads that context and writes a small Python script to answer your question. PandasAI then checks that the script is safe to run and then it runs the script locally on your actual data using pandas. So if you want to get away with writing pandas and matplotlib code yourself, you can use this library to do quick analysis, data cleaning, and data manipulation. But for more complex tasks like joining data frames or creating correlation matrix, you should still use pandas. The second tool that I think is pretty cool is Data Formulator. This one comes out of Microsoft Research, and the easiest way to think about it is the combination of Excel formulas, Power Query, and modern AI. It also allows you to interact with your data in natural language, but the nice part is the tool shows you exactly how the data is being transformed and visualized step by step. Nothing hidden, which means the workflow stays transparent and reusable. Give it a broad prompt like show me interesting trends in this dataset and we'll start transforming the data, generating visualizations and suggesting directions you can explore further. This tool is also open source and you can install it locally. So in your workflow, if you happen to spend a lot of time in the Microsoft ecosystem like Excel, Power Query, Power BI, it's definitely worth experimenting with this tool. Now with these kind of tools, you still need to understand your data, but they can drastically speed up the exploration phase where you're just trying to understand what you're working with before you get into building the actual pipeline and the real modeling work. Now, as a top 1% data scientist, you don't just limit yourself to tools that are already available. You also know how to build AI tools and systems to support your team. So I want to quickly shout out to DataCamp who sponsors this part of the video. I used DataCamp back when I was learning Python for work. What I really like is that it's hands-on. You actually write code, solve exercises, and build projects right in your browser. They're offering some solid tracks for data scientists to level up your skills. The first one I'd recommend is the Associate AI Engineer for Data Scientist track that covers scikit-learn, PyTorch, Hugging Face, building LLM apps with LangChain, and the MLOps basics to help you take models into production. If you're more on application building side, the Associate AI Engineer for Developers track covers the more practical stack, so OpenAI API, prompt engineering, embeddings, PyCon, and LangChain. They also offer an AI Engineer for Data Scientist certification if you want a credential you can put on LinkedIn. If you want to level level up your skills in AI with these tracks, check the links in the description. Okay, the second way data scientists can leverage AI is creating synthetic datasets for prototyping. Getting access to real and high-quality data is a problem every data scientist has faced. Probably the data is locked behind privacy constraints, doesn't exist yet, or you just want to test an idea quickly. So instead of waiting, many data scientists use AI to create synthetic datasets, whether they are structured or unstructured data. LLMs have become so good that they can actually generate artificial data that mimics real-world patterns. In fact, synthetic data is widely used in privacy-sensitive industries like healthcare, finance, where real data can't always be shared freely. For example, I used Claude to generate this whole e-commerce dataset of 5,000 rows with customers, products, order items. You just describe what you need, the structure, the number of rows, and it gives you something you can actually work with in minutes. Similarly, you can also generate unstructured text data for testing a model training pipeline. Now, here's another interesting way you can use AI that a lot of data scientists are sleeping on. That is using foundation models. Foundation models are those that are trained on massive and varied datasets. They are different from traditional machine learning models that are custom built for specific tasks. Today, foundation models are no longer just for chatbots and image generation. They're starting to show up in core data science work like time series forecasting, tabular prediction, and even recommendation systems. Let's say you're building a time series forecasting model. You usually collect your data and clean it and engineer your features, and then pick a model and train it and fine-tune it and evaluate it. Now, the problem is, if your company wants forecasts across 200 product lines, you would normally have to repeat that process over and over. But nowadays, you can use foundation models like Chronos by Amazon and TimeGPT. So here's an example where I tried one of those models. You just feed your data and get a forecast. No feature engineering, no model selection, no training loop. This approach is really changing the whole modeling workflow. Netflix recently replaced a whole stack of separate recommendation models with one foundation model trained on billions of user interactions, and now every team just fine-tunes on top of it. The data scientists pulling ahead right now are the ones who know when to build from scratch and when to build on top of something that already works. Next, let's talk about how a data scientist can automate workflows with MCP. Model Context Protocol. Think about your typical day. You're jumping between 5 different apps. You're querying databases, pushing code to GitHub, sharing updates on Slack, pulling some data that your colleagues shared on Google Drive. That constant back and forth burns your energy. So the idea of using MCP is that it lets you connect all of those tools to an AI assistant like Claude. So instead of switching between apps, you're doing everything from one place. For example, I connected Claude Desktop with my PostgreSQL database through MCP, and now instead of opening a SQL client, writing a query, running it, copying results, I just ask Claude, for example, show me the top 10 customers by revenue this month, and I get my answer right there. Now, quick heads up, not every employer allows tools like Claude Desktop or Claude Code due to security policies. But even if you can't use it at work yet, it's useful, I think, to explore it personally, because I think sooner or later, this kind of integrated tools will become the standard because it removes a lot of friction in the day-to-day work. Now, beyond just using AI tools to speed up your work, the data scientists who are really standing out right now are the ones who can actually build things with AI, systems that solve real business problems for their teams and companies. From my conversations with all of my data scientist friends, their jobs are less and less about prototyping a model in a notebook. It's more and more about delivering something people can actually use. For example, imagine your finance team processes hundreds of invoices every week manually. You could build an AI system that reads those invoices, extracts the key information, and saves it straight to your database. Or say your company wants to understand patterns across thousands of customer interactions or research documents. You could build a knowledge graph that maps out how everything connects. That way you uncover insights that are impossible to find with traditional analysis methods. I also have a tutorial on this. I'll link here somewhere on the screen. These are the kinds of projects that make you invaluable at a company these days. Also, there's a real gap that most data scientists need to close right now, myself included. A lot of data scientists can build a great prototype, but they can't get it into production. They can't deploy it, monitor it, or make it reliable enough for other people to depend on. And to close that gap, you need to start learning things like how to containerize your application with Docker so it runs anywhere, how to deploy and serve your models on cloud platforms, and how to monitor and maintain AI systems once they are live. These skills are more engineering skills, AI engineering specifically, but they're becoming essential for data scientists as well if you want to help your team build AI systems. Now, we've talked about a lot of different tools and hard skills, but I think eventually data professionals are increasingly about judgment and influence. Understanding how business works, how your company makes money, domain knowledge, stakeholder management, trust building, communication, and data storytelling, these soft skills in the long term are becoming the core of what you do. Right now, I think one thing that's gonna pay off dividends for you is to stay open to trying out new tools, learning them, using them, questioning them, adapting them for your own needs. I run a free newsletter where I share my latest insights and experiments in data science and AI. So if you're interested, check it out in the description below. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.